what is energy healing and how does it work? Have you ever wondered about how Reiki works, or even how sound vibrations can create such extraordinary effects on the body? Like even just listening to a piece of music, right, can make us feel amazing or it can make us feel awful. Have you ever wondered how that happens? Or why it is that when you walk into a room, sometimes you might feel really good, or sometimes you might feel like, oh, something's not quite right here. Well, hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have an understanding. So everything around us is energy. If you think about how we learned about radio waves as kids, right? You have these waves and frequencies. Light is frequency, sound is frequency, our emotions are frequency. Our brains, when we have thoughts, also produce frequencies. So imagine we're surrounded all the time by energy, by the way the light bounces off our skin, off other things around us, the sound penetrating our bodies, the way the air particles move around us. It's all energy, everything. So bearing this in mind, studies have shown, for instance, that there's something called entanglement. Now entanglement happens, for example, where if you have one photon on one side of the universe and another photon on the other side of the universe, if you affect one of those photons, the other photon simultaneously starts to do the same thing. How is that possible? If it was localized, it would take time between this photon and the other photon reacting. But it doesn't work that way. It happens simultaneously. How? Because of energy. There's a quantum field on which they're operating, and so when you affect one thing over here, it also affects that thing there. Isn't that exciting? So what does that mean in terms of us? Studies have shown that when you've got two people who are entangled with each other, so for example a man and wife who know each other well and have emotional connection, if one of them is in a room watching a horror movie and they're all hooked up to machines and that reading their heart rate and brain waves, and their partner is in the other room and they're just reading a magazine, the person who is reading the magazine starts to exhibit the same brain waves and heart rate as the person experiencing the horror movie. Isn't that interesting? So even though they're not experiencing the same thing, they're being affected in the same way at the same time. Well, the beautiful thing about this is that instead of using this to create disorder and disharmony and stress, we can actually use this to heal. So how this works is quite simple. As an energy healer myself, what I do is I bring myself into a balanced healing state, a state where I'm coherent. What does that mean? It means that I'm tuning into the power of love. What the heck does that mean? It means that I'm calming my mind, I'm calming down my body, I'm trusting in something greater than I am, and I'm setting an intention for the person in front of me and allowing myself to experience love for that person in front of me who is requiring healing. And they could be right in front of me, as in on a bed in front of me, or they could be on the other side of the planet. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that my thought and my essence is in some way entangled with that person. And that can be done by thought and by using our imagination and creativity. And creativity is such a hard thing to measure because it's creating something out of nothing. But can you see that as an energy healer is creating that harmony within themselves and they're entangling them with that other person, how harmony is basically transmitted to this other person without even needing to do anything. Even just by being that way, great things are already happening. But as an energy healer myself, what I do is I create that space within me, and then also have the intention that I'm working with certain aspects of that person to open up and bring in divine flow of energy. So I act as a conduit to enable them to open up and receive the healing energies of divine grace, of God, of spirit, of universe. It's not me doing the healing. I just open up and guide and make it possible. And all energy healers will tell you that that's what they do. It's not us doing the healing. We're just facilitating that other person to heal. And that's how we do it, by creating this space within us, by changing our energy and then tangling it with another person. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you experienced energy healing? Are you an energy healer yourself? Does this make sense? Do you have more questions than you have answers? I would love to hear them, and I'd love to answer them. So drop them in the comments below. Do make sure that you give this a thumbs up if you found it entertaining or informative, and do be sure to visit the other videos here and give the subscribe button a hit if you'd like to receive meditations, healing, and like to learn how to be more successful and have the things that you would love in life. Wishing you a beautiful day wherever you are in the world. Thank you for watching. Namaste.